We are live, I think. Yeah, we are. Yeah, I also think my charger might be broken on my laptop. So I think I've got something that might be able to keep it alive, but hopefully it doesn't just cut out because it's just not working today. So
Oh no.
it's just decided to just not work. But I think we should be fine as long as it's not an insanely long episode. I think we should be good. But let me just test it now.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know why it's not working. I tried to charge my phone with it last night when I got in, and I was just like, it's just not working. It's really weird. But let's have a look. Yeah, so it's just got. I don't know why.
Have you been feeding it twice a day? Giving it water?
No, maybe that's where I'm going wrong. But yeah. Okay. Hopefully this charger I've got is enough to keep it alive. I just don't think it will necessarily charge the device. But I don't know.
Oh.
Don't you love it when chargers just stop working when you need them to? It was literally working yesterday. I charged my phone with it before I left for cricket. I don't know. It just stopped working. My bag.
Is it still working on your phone?
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, just out of nowhere. It's just nothing. I don't get it. Maybe I put it in the bag funny and it got crushed a bit. I don't know. All right.
Well, it's the same charger you use for your Mac.
Yeah. I do charge my phone. No. But like, I shouldn't charge my phone with that because it is a bulky charger. But I do sometimes. I got a different charger in the bedroom for my phone, which is mini. But
But then you
USB C.
Oh, right, okay.
It's just USB C. My phone's USB C as well, so I can use it on my phone. I can use it on MacBook. It is a MacBook charger. I just use it on my phone sometimes.
I see.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm good to go. I'm plugged in. We're live. Let's do this before something bad
I've got
happens.
some watermelon Fanta.
That's fantastic. I had a little bit of mango monster.
Mango monster, nice.
Because I was feeling a little bit. I wasn't hungover this morning, but I wasn't hydrated. Let's just put it that way.
Was your piss yellow?
Yes, it was like a dark bronze. My rank in Overwatch.
You're pissing out a stream of gold. Nice. Hi, Timmer.
Hi, Timmer.
Wow. Have you seen my thumbnail for this episode?
I haven't. No, I've seen your title for the thumbnail, for the stream, but I haven't seen the thumbnail. No.
I don't know if there's. Can you see it? Can you just see it on YouTube, or I don't know?
Is this you really want me to see this? Do you? Okay.
It's worth it. You need to see it. I'm wondering if 5 is saved anywhere, but I don't think I do.
Be some stupid.
Oh, there it is.
Meme about us winning against the FTC, is it?
I just sent it to you on Discord. Well,
what
really
happened is that,
is that I discovered Bing now has an AI generator, like an image generator.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, it's going to make my thumbnails a lot easier. And I think the prompt for this was Xbox fans going crazy with green beams coming out their eyes.
It's pretty perfect. Yeah.
This guy's got his controller facing the camera.
Yeah.
And they're all just screaming. It's pretty scary, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a bunch of aliens are just doing horrible things to them.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
But
hi, Swagger 4000 in the chat. Hi.
Hello. All right. Shall we? Shall we get a jingle in?
We shall. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. We are. All you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 106 of the Quick Resume podcast. You'll know if you've been here long enough that about 60 of these episodes have had some element of Activision Blizzard King in them. And it's a glorious day to be able to say we're here. We're at the final. It's hard to put into words. I'm speechless.
I'm still not convinced. They're gonna pull the rug from under our feet somehow, dude.
Yeah, that is kind of how it feels. But
UK gamers won't get anything.
If you haven't been here before Tim spirals off into cynicism and the dark abyss, my name is Deck, and joining me is the long, strong, quite good at ping pong.
Yeah.
Tim.
All those things are actually quite accurate. Yeah, I'm not bad at ping pong. It sounds great, but yeah, hello, that's me.
So, it's been a busy week, hasn't it, guys? It's the whole thing. My notes for this week have been a fucking mess because I didn't know when this whole escapade was going to end by. So I didn't. If I'd known it was all going to be wrapped up by Friday, I would have just let it be. Like the thumbnail I've got and the title I've got are the same ones I made like Monday earlier on in the week. Like I didn't end up changing any of that, but because the FTC, the preliminary injunction got denied, and then the FTC fucking appealed it, and I was like, oh, for God's sake. And especially because last week we were like, I don't think it's over. Like it's gonna keep going. I don't believe it. I don't trust it. And then that is exactly what happened. But then the appeal got denied quite swiftly as well. So we're back to kind of being in the W position. The size of this W is almighty.
It's a fat W.
Continent level W.
Yeah.
So
Indonesia.
It's actually Indonesia at the very least. Indonesia size W. And I think that's fun. We're going to come around to it because what that means is that we can actually start talking about me. I mean, not me as in Deck, as in me as in.
That sounded really fucking great.
yeah, exactly. There's so many great things to talk about me. Look, I've got a good mustache, pair of glasses are pretty styling. You see the slick hair? Only a little bit greasy. Got a big forehead.
These are all great qualities. Greasy hair
Thank
and
you.
a big forehead. You realise those are the two last things you said.
I said, oh yeah, well, yes. So, but you see what I mean? So many good things to talk about. Of course, what I'm talking about is me, you, the Xbox gamer. That's what we can talk about. And that's so much better than saying, oh, the capital of fucking Sweden has granted the deal.
Yeah.
And that's following last week's news that the capital of Finland has granted the deal. And that's following, last month's news that the Czech Republic has granted the deal. And it's like, now we can just say, well, maybe all of the CODs are just going to go onto Game Pass. Maybe Crash is going to turn up on Game. Who knows what's next? And that's far more enjoyable territory to do a podcast for. I'll tell you that for fucking free.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, it still hasn't come to a conclusion or a closing date or anything like that, so we'll still have to talk about it in regards to that. But yeah, it's definitely nice we're over that hurdle of just fucking back and forth, the ping pong battle, as they say. Yeah,
nice. Yeah, wow. Full circle. Yeah, and it's I think it's the fact that we're over the will we won't they. They will. They will.
Yeah.
And that makes this a lot better to go into. So, we'll come around to that. We're going to start with the lower level stuff. So guys, as we usually do, if you're here, it'd be really nice if you could like the video. It'd be really nice if you could subscribe if you're new. It'd be really nice if you could send a glitter bomb to Tim's house. I can DM you the address if you just let me know.
We're a big fan of glitter really in this house, so I'd really like that.
Yeah. But what color do you prefer? just so I can tell
I
them.
like I just like a multicolor. Yeah, I like everything.
Multicolor.
Yeah. Just like a bit of silver, pink, all that kind of stuff. Some blues
Some
thrown in there.
some
Yeah,
diverse glitter. Yeah,
yeah. Just
got
some
it.
really obnoxiously bright glitter. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll take note of that. So if anybody wants an address, let me know, and we can have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Tim,
Yeah.
how's it going, man? How you feeling?
Yeah. It's going alright. I'm a bit tired. I'm a wee bit tired today. But yeah, the week was decent. It was busy, and I've basically been playing more Final Fantasy, and we hopped on for an evening of the dinosaur, the exo suit shooting dinosaur game known as Exo Primal.
Yeah, that's
um,
the one. I love that one.
which is actually pretty good, man. I was actually pretty surprised by it. I know I was never planning to be blown away by this game, and I think it's kind of come out and done kind of exactly what I expected it to do. Like, it's fine, right? It's like a 7 out of 10 game that you can have fun with your mates. And I've always had a bit of a soft spot for PvEVP sort of hybrid
Hell
blended
yeah.
games. Like, I just feel like they're pretty cool. You don't really see them too much, and I think it's because it's quite hard to nail it, to find that balance between juggling both. Like we were saying, I think the only game that does it really, really well is probably Hunt Showdown. Um, any other game that's attempted it is like done it okay. I think Exo Primer has still only done it okay, but it's still quite refreshing to see, and I do enjoy playing them. So
Mm.
yeah, that's been good fun. But
Yeah, I gotta say, we might as well stick on it while we're here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was quite impressed as well. I guess I maybe haven't played it long enough to see some of the weaknesses and the downsides sort of kick in. But I was quite impressed with the gameplay. I thought it was pretty smooth.
yeah,
There were no bugs,
yeah,
I just really liked the flow of the games, to be honest with you. I think, like it starts with PvE and it's a bit of a race against the clock to do it better than the other team. And you can see like shadows of each other, like silhouettes, so you know if you're ahead or behind, and it makes it feel quite connected. And then you essentially do like a payload bit where both teams are pushing cargo, and at any time during that, you're on the same map, and any time during that, one of you can go and like invade or gank or whatever to try and slow them down. So that kind of becomes then PvPvE, like with essentially with invasions. And then as you get towards the end, the cargoes get really close, like the drop off point are essentially right next to each other. So it becomes pretty much like it kind of flips, and then it becomes more PvP and a little bit of PvE.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I think the flow of those matches are quite good. That you start, it starts as PvE and then introduces a bit of PvP, and then by the end there's quite a lot of it. And overall, I thought the PvP felt quite good as well. I was quite impressed.
Mm-hmm.
At times it was a bit busy and a bit hard to read, but overall, I thought it was quite good.
Mm.
Yeah, that's just my thoughts on the gameplay so far. Because they didn't send out code, which is never a good sign. But currently on OpenCritic, it's got a 6, a 7.5, and an 8. So it probably is coming into the mid 70s, which is probably fair.
Yeah,
But my initial feelings are kind of a bit higher than that, to be honest. I was quite impressed.
yeah. Me too. I think it's the sort of game where I think it will start to dip in terms of like when the meta settles and people find like what works, the best sort of characters, and that honeymoon period is over. I think it will start to, its flaws will start to show. But I think for a couple weeks or something like that, it's going to be a pretty fun, solid game. And yeah, I'm having a good time with it. Yeah, I think like you said, performance wise, it's pretty good. There's no hitches or bugs or like
Mm-mm.
connection issues. Like, I feel like it's quite responsive. Like when I'm PvPing other people, there's no like lag or like weird jankiness. It's pretty good. It feels quite crispy and it feels pretty good. Although the sensitivity in that game, if you're a controller player, is
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
I don't even know what to do. I think I put it down to the bare minimum, like actually one. And if I could put it to 0, I would.
I just squeezed a tub of honey into my like the bit under the analog
Yeah.
stick to try and make it a bit easier.
It seems like the settings were definitely built for PC first or something, and then just like they were
Yeah.
like, yeah, we'll just replicate for controller. But You get used to it, but it's very very quick, and there's not much auto aim either. Like
No.
to help out, which is fine. You know, I don't need auto aim, but you just need to crank down the sensitivity.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's good fun. It is good fun. I like it. And it's not often I get to shoot fucking dinosaurs in a robot suit, so it's quite unique.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah.
it should also be said that it was the first time I think in month and a half that I've played a video game with my co-host. It's pretty fun.
Mhm. Yeah, it's been a
It's
hot
a good
minute.
time.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Had to blow off the dust.
Yeah,
Get it out of the
exactly.
vents.
Yeah. No, yeah, I haven't really been playing too much Xbox. There hasn't really been anything to pique my interest outside of juggling Final Fantasy and just doing my normal things. So yeah, but that was fun, and I think I'll try and do Diablo, and get that finished off for season one. But I'm definitely coming back for Remnant. I'm pretty excited for Remnant. I've already got that on pre-order and got that pre-installed. So um, yeah, that's exciting. That's the next big one for me, I think.
Yeah, Remnant 2 is probably going to be pretty awesome. I don't know how the first one actually reviewed. I
Yeah,
think
I
it
don't
cracked
think it was
80s.
exceptional. I think it was maybe like an 8 at max. But it was just very, very beloved and very. I just think it went a lot deeper than most people thought. It was one of those games where maybe it was reviewed too quick for what it is. You know,
78 it got.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Like,
it's got like kind of cult classic status, I think.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But maybe like just I don't know. Maybe the reviewers just didn't really give it the chance it needed. They kind of took it at face value and they didn't go crazy end game or how that all works. Because I quite like the way they did the end game in that, and all the loot collecting and modifiers and certain conditions to find certain items and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. So and then they also had like the insane, like, do you remember they had like the crazy stupid hardcore mode which we tried like once and we just
Yeah.
like even that was quite enticing to us. We were like, yeah, let's actually grind and give this a go, you know. But it was just too hard. I think everything one shot you, wasn't it? I think that was literally what the mode was. I think even
Um,
regular enemies could kill you in one hit, I think.
yeah, something like that. But it was like the way they did it was really cool in that when you got to certain stages of the game in that mode, you unlocked some account wide rings. So there was an incentive for you to give it a go for your main
Yeah.
character. And they were really powerful. So it was just, and there were lots of very smart design decisions like that throughout the game where you were incentivized to give something a go outside of I'm a sadist and want to hurt myself. You know, you were
Mm,
encouraged to do things like that
yeah.
for like loot and for builds. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely. And it's cool. And the classes look a lot cooler in this one. There's some really cool new additions like the gunslinger and the handler and stuff like that. Um, yeah, pretty cool. Which, by the way, I think I don't know how that works, but the edition I got, by the way, was one that came with um I don't know, it comes with some stuff, but it basically said that you get early access to the gunslinger archetype. So I don't know how that works for people who just bought a standard edition of the game, and if they have to play a certain amount to get the gunslinger, or they don't have it
oh
yet.
yeah,
So
yeah, probably.
that's kind of weird. I don't know if they've locked that behind a paywall or just like a time wall. Yeah, a bit weird, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you're for anybody listening, you know, I would highly encourage you to give Remnant a go if you haven't already. I think it is on a sale at the moment because it's the Ultimate Game Sale. It's unfortunately not in Game Pass, although it did launch in Game Pass. Um, but I would highly encourage you to give it a go. You know, the headline, the elevator pitch is it's a Souls like with guns.
yeah,
Um, Generally a bit more forgiving than a Souls game, but harder than your typical over the shoulder cover shooter.
yeah.
And it does have cover shooting mechanics, doesn't it? You can slam up against walls. Oh no,
Uh,
remember you can't.
no, you can't. No, you can. There's no actual
Yeah,
like,
crouch.
yeah, like slam up against walls, but yeah, you use them. The way the levels are designed, they have that crouch level height sort of cover, so you can get behind
Yeah.
it, duck up and down, and shoot, and all that sort of stuff. But there's no actual mechanic for it, like gears or anything.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So yeah, definitely looking forward to that as well. When is that again? July when?
28th, I want to say, or like 25th. It's like something like that.
Yeah, 25th.
There you
Quick
go,
look,
25th,
25th,
which is like a Tuesday, I think, which is really annoying.
3rd. Yeah, Tuesday.
Don't like a Tuesday launch.
I got some weird game launch days this year. Well, actually, no, well, Tuesday is not weird, but you know what I mean. I think in this, like in the way most people's lives work, Tuesday's a weird day to release a fucking video game. And that is standard. But I was more thinking of Starfield releasing on a Wednesday. I still don't. I don't. Do you think you're a big deal, or like what?
Yeah,
What's up with that?
it is weird. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Like you said, it's inconvenient for the consumer in terms of it being a Tuesday, most people work, all that sort of stuff, whatever. But obviously the reason they do it is so they, if anything goes wrong with the launch, obviously they have the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to fix it before the weekend, which is when most of the players will pile in. It's sort of like a bit of a buffer to make sure everything goes well. It's like you never release or do like an update or a change on a Friday. You'd always wait till the Monday or the Tuesday sort of thing. So
And it means they can sell you the early access package for the Friday before.
it's actually a
So
thing.
you've got to pay. You've got to pay for it. It's just a pattern I've noticed more and more. Diablo was the most recent one, where it's like, oh, we'll give it to you 4 or 5 days early, but essentially it means you can play it on Friday and you can play it over the weekend.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be nice? Give us another 40 quid.
it's never that much, but yeah.
Yeah.
But they do bundle it in with the extras, so you do pay a bit more. But yeah, sneaky.
So yeah, it's sneaky. What have I been doing? I've been playing a little bit of Planet Alana still. I got a new soundbar, so that's been good to give that a go with. I got one on Prime Day. Nothing big, just a little guy. The Bose Solo Series 2. It was like 200 down to 110 or something, so pretty good. I've wanted one for a while because the TV I got a while back, my 4K TV, was really good. It's a really great TV. Like the depth of color is amazing. HDR10, most of the bells and whistles, other than VRR and 120. But its sound sucks. And that was fine. I knew that would be fine because I'm going to be playing Xbox on it with my headset most of the time. So I've just been waiting for a good deal for a soundbar, really. So that's been good to correct that problem. And it's very good for the price I paid.
Nice.
Other than that, I've slowed down a bit on Diablo, mostly because life stuff has been really busy. I've got like essays and shit to do, and I'd like to try and get that tidied up before season 1 kicks in for Diablo and Remnant 2 comes out. So that's kind of slowed down a bit. But yeah, that's me.
Nice.
Very nice. So before we come round to the big old ABK malarkey, we have to pay tribute. We have to hold one hand to the sky.
Do I have to?
And show our respects for Larry Herb's Xbox Lives, Major Nelson, leaving Xbox after 20 years.
That's what I'm giving him. Never really liked him. I bet you he's going to work for Sony. He always has been.
A true legend to the Xbox community. Recognizable through and through. Face of the brand.
Snake in the grass.
Do you want to explain your disdain for Major Nelson live on on the podcast? Or what's that about?
Just don't like his face. Just don't trust him.
We have this running joke that Tim thinks that Major Nelson is like some sort of saboteur, and he's just like stealing funds from the Xbox piggy bank. I don't know why, but that's just how he feels, and I don't think I can change his mind.
It's a thing, man. I don't know. I've just got to read on people. It will come out one day.
I don't think you do have a read on people. Do you have any examples of a time you had a read on someone?
I'm not gonna out that, no. But I know.
Really?
I know what I know, Deck.
All right, if you say so.
But yeah, he's been with Xbox for 20 years. It's a shame to see him go, but What's the reason he was leaving? Do you know?
Does he know?
No, do you know? Like, did he say like
Oh,
I'm leaving because I'm retiring? I'm leaving because I want to do something else? Like what?
yeah, pretty much. He said he didn't say he was retiring, but he said he's ready to take a break and then start thinking about what he wants to do next. And yeah, I mean, he was tweeting for ages the other day because he opened his DMs so that people could message him or whatever. You know, and people were saying loads of really nice things. You know, I think he was kind of a bigger face of the brand in the 360 days, and had done less and less from the Xbox One onwards. I mean,
Mm.
in the early Xbox One days when there was like a shift over from Don to Phil,
Mm-hmm.
um, Major Nelson was kind of the stopgap a little bit. He was kind of he had a lot of interviews with Phil to try and, you know, tie it all together and keep the community involved.
Yeah.
But since then, he kind of hasn't been involved all that much. Like he used to do his weekly show. He does the official Xbox podcast, you know, but that's not as big as some of the stuff he used to have on like the front page of the 360,
Mm-hmm.
you know, things like that. So I think a lot of that just kind of became a bit redundant. But also, I do kind of feel that I kind of get the impression that the new Xbox is going through a bit of a shift right now. It kind of feels like new era Xbox, Neo Xbox is kicking in, you know. And I tweeted this the other day, like I was like, I'm kind of expecting Phil to step down in the next year. I don't know.
Right.
I just have a funny feeling that he's just going to pass the torch and be like, look, we've done everything we can. It took a decade. We've spent 80 billion on studios. Do your magic. Work your magic.
Who would he pass it to? Like Sarah Bond or something?
That's been what everybody's been speculating, and wouldn't be a bad choice at all.
Okay,
I
Sarah's
like Sarah.
nice. Yeah.
Um, she was great. You know, we don't have much to go by other than stage presence, but even people spoke about her and Phil as well appearing in like court, and you know, it's one of those things of like, oh, these guys know their shit. I think I spoke about that a couple of podcasts back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe, or maybe someone else. Yeah, I don't know. And I think Phil even tweeted the other week. He like posted a room full of interns, and he was like, "These are the new, you know, these are like this is like the future of Xbox sort of thing." I hope he wasn't holding them hostage.
A load of interns. Some
Yeah.
random interns gonna get CEO, is he?
Well, he started as a Xbox intern, I
Oh,
think,
okay.
or Microsoft intern. One of them, because he's been at the company for fucking ages, and he's, you know, he worked his way up.
Interesting.
So I don't know. It just kind of feels like it's coming to that where, like the middle management people like Sarah Bond, Matt Booty are going to stay because they haven't been around that long. But maybe like the front facing team and the real higher ups are going to sort of pass on the torch. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just kind of my read on things.
Mm.
You know, how can you not have that sort of consideration when you've just pretty much landed an acquisition of one of the biggest publishers in the world? You know,
True.
that requires kind of a new vision. Maybe Phil still has that vision. Maybe that is still his thing that he wants to see through, or make sure the wheels hit the ground first. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that?
No, I mean it kind of makes sense. It never really crossed my mind to be honest, but um, you know, I can't imagine Phil staying any longer than a handful more years. You know, I think he'll probably. I don't think he'll just buy shit and leave. I think he'll probably stabilize everything and get all the ducks in a row sort of thing and get a structure and a cadence going and then maybe pass the torch. So like maybe a few more years rather than like one more year. But yeah, no, I do kind of agree with you. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to happen at some point.
Because if you think about it, next year it will have been 10 years since he's been the CEO of Xbox, which is kind of wild to think about.
It doesn't feel like it's been 10 years. No, not at all. Feels like it's been like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I think by most people's standards, a decade in a role is quite a lot. You know,
Mm.
I mean, I'm sure the guy is making fucking bank. You know,
True. Yeah. Yeah.
but I mean, we'll see. But yeah, it does kind of feel like that, and you know, there's more to talk about as we get into sort of the more of the ABK news and what that kind of means for the platform going forward. But you know, Major Nelson may have just felt that this was the right time with all of that. There's going to be a big shift. I'm not needed that much anymore. Like, look at all of these community managers that ABK already has. I'm not going to be touching any of that stuff. I'm not going to be touching any of Bethesda stuff. So what, and even like the individual studios have their own community managers nowadays. Like, that's more of a common thing. Like Ninja Theory has their own, etc., etc.
True.
So I reckon the redundancy kind of just crept in, and he was just kind of ready to move on.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Or he knows that Xbox is about to die.
Yeah. Or he's got all the files he needs, and now he's just handing the memory stick over to Sony.
To Jim Ryan.
Yeah. That's it. He's like, I've got everything I need to take you down.
Yeah.
Sayonara, fuckers.
Yeah. Look at this. One time I saw Phil Spencer have dessert before dinner, and I've got a picture of it.
Yeah.
In this donut at 4:30. It's disgraceful. It's just not cricket.
Yeah. It's just, that's enough to bring anyone down.
Do you know how I'll be so sad if, like, of all the people, Phil, like, gets cancelled because, I don't know, he like punched a fan once in the nose.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it'd be a pretty cool way to get cancelled. I feel like as far as being cancelled goes, they could be worse. Just deck someone.
To be fair, yeah, like someone's harassing him on the street, like a proper fanboy, and he just straight up just bap.
Yeah, he's like, I told you to leave me alone. Smack.
Security's like, Phil, like, covers him in a coat and like skulls him out.
Yeah.
Can't have anyone see this. They like throw some money at the guy on the floor.
Yeah.
You didn't see anything. You
saw nothing.
Okay. Tim, do you care to read the first title?
I'm not saying that live.
Why not?
Xbox One.
There's two other words there.
You.
One more.
Xbox One, everyone. Don't enlarge it. I'm not saying it. You say it. It's not a word that you should say live.
Why not?
Because we'll get
Do you think
demonetized, and I'm here to make bank.
Get demonetized. Xbox One, you cunts. We did it.
We did.
We did it. We had the roller coaster of the week. It was crazy. It was bonkers, Tim. The community was having a seizure. And I don't just mean the Xbox community, I mean the gaming community, because I don't know if you've seen like masks start to slip. Like some like otherwise neutral like journalists or just like I don't know, just like community members have suddenly been like, I'm all of a sudden I'm very concerned about the future of the industry. And it was like, you weren't concerned. Yeah, you weren't concerned when it was looking like the deal was going to get blocked, just saying.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
But what do you mean? Were people who were kind of on board with it before and now, or they were never on board with it and now they're just coming out and saying?
Well, we don't really know where they were before, but they appeared to be people who, didn't engage in kind of console war, rhetoric, and then all of a sudden it's kind of Xbox bad,
Xbox always bad, dude.
Xbox literally always bad.
Mm-hmm.
If Xbox good, I don't know what's right.
Yeah, there's something wrong there. We are the enemy.
Xbox bad or nothing, man. Yeah, so Judge Corley was like, "Nah, fuck you. This is a load of shit." And I don't know if we touched on it before, but essentially she said what everybody has already been saying for the past years. She was like, "Yeah, this deal might be bad for Sony." Like in a concluding statement, she quite literally said this. I'm paraphrasing. It might be bad for Sony, but it's good for competition, and that was like her thing. She was like, you keep saying that it's going to have a bad effect on competition, but from what I can see, it's actually going to have the opposite effect. It's going to be more competition.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like, and they kept, the only thing that they just kept coming back to was COD on PlayStation. That was it. They just kept drilling down on that same single thing. Yeah, but
Which
what
is
if they do
redundant.
make it expensive? But what if they do, bro? You know?
What if they do upload a virus into it that's only on PlayStation consoles? I still can't
Yeah.
believe they said that when they were well, not exactly that, but they were just like they could just make like a worse version and a buggy
Yeah.
version on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Just like, come on.
Like, what sort of mood would Phil have to be in to turn up? Like, he's got a cap pulled really low down. He's got like bags under his eyes. He's got like a flat white, and he's like, he goes into the ABK offices and he's like, look, he just pokes every like programmer on the shoulder. He's like, look, can you just and he just scrambles their keyboard.
Yeah.
And then walks away.
Can you just take this memory stick I've got, and then if you could just import that file into only the PlayStation version of the game? They're like, what is it? He's like, I don't pay you to ask questions. Fucking do it.
Yeah. Do you mind opening the PlayStation code just so I can have a look? I just want to have a look. This no biggie. I just want to have a look. And as soon as it's open, he like throws coffee over the.
He's like, I just want to make sure that it's all, just all wrong, and starts smashing the game.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah. That's really what it sounded like. So I don't know who in their right mind is going to be like, yeah, we're going to make your version intentionally worse because then people are going to buy less copies and we're going to get less money. Like, but that was the thing, and the judge saw straight through it. She was like, you keep fucking defending, you keep trying to say that you're worried about Sony. That's not what we're here for. And I think I said this last week. She stopped them mid-tracks, like during one of the arguments. She was like, okay, yeah, you keep saying that, but like what about the consumer? And so that was one of her concluding remarks that it might be bad for PlayStation. We've said this before, like, yes, this is going to put more pressure on Sony. This might be a net loss for the average PlayStation fan. In some ways, not that COD's going to leave anytime soon, but some other ABK stuff might become exclusive. Some other ABK stuff might not come to subscription services, even though it didn't look like that was going to happen anyway. I would say there's a bit of a net loss. But overall, for the entire gaming landscape, it's a big win. It's a double win for the Xbox community, but for everyone else. And not only that, Tim, I was thinking about this because we had the PlayStation showcase in the midst of all of this, didn't we, last month or whenever it was? PlayStation announced, from Bungie, that Marathon was coming back. If there's any game that could be the next new entrant into the FPS market, it's Marathon, in the same way Apex was probably the last one.
Yeah.
They're already sitting on a competitor. I don't think anybody really realized that or spoke about that, but I was just thinking about that.
Then they didn't make it exclusive, did they?
No, they didn't. Yeah. But this is in terms of the revenue,
if anything, it just backs the statement that they want to keep it. Like, Xbox want to keep COD on both platforms, just like you decided to put Marathon on both platforms because it's just going to result in more sales, right? And more player base. It just kind of solidifies that as a popularity shooter sort of thing. But yeah.
And I'm sure it would mean somewhere along the lines that someone is now watching Marathon extra closely because they know that they're going to have to fight harder to have some of the shooter community still play on PlayStation, and I think that's one of the key takeaways from this, that, PlayStation are going to have to fight harder for your money now. Like, we're hearing rumors of Horizon, the first Horizon, getting another remaster soon. We just heard a rumor the other day from these are from reputable sources saying that The Last of Us 2 is getting a remake. And it's like,
why?
If this doesn't sound like complacency to you, I don't know what does.
Why are they remaking those games?
Money.
But they didn't even come out that long ago. Like, you blew up Horizon and it's still a fantastic looking game and playable game. Why the fuck is that getting a remake or a remaster?
Well, the same happened with Ghost of Tsushima really quickly. They released it, and 2 years later, they were like, here's a director's cut.
Yeah, but the director's
direct.
cut made sense because, oh, actually, yeah, I guess you could argue the same thing with Horizon because it was like, oh, it's a PS5 version, it runs at a higher frame rate. I guess you
Death
could
Stranding,
say the same
they did the
thing.
same. Director's cut.
Yeah, it's really, yeah, it's quite lazy, isn't it? I don't see any reason those games need remastering. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like if like Xbox was just like, oh, we're gonna remake or remaster Doom Eternal. It's like we don't. We
No,
don't need
I
to
don't
do
want that.
that. Like, no
Yeah.
one wants that.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Well,
make
that's but
sense.
the argument definitely could be that PlayStation, Xbox invested in their backwards compatibility technology. Everything you play on the backwards compatibility, it gets up-resed, and that's 360 stuff. But obviously, smart delivery is a thing. Frame rate boost is still a thing. All of these things get up-resed as well. So there's less need for Xbox to remake this stuff because they know they've done well by the community by saying, look, you can play your old stuff however you want, whenever you want. It'll look better. Your new technology, your new console will make it look better and play better.
Mm.
PlayStation haven't done that. They haven't invested in the same way. And so there's a bit of like, let's remake some of it and get some cabbage.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's yeah, they definitely need some an injection of life into just trying something new. I think a little bit rather than just falling back on these IPs and just keep remaking and remastering everything. For sure, because they're all just this really similar games as well. We talked about this. Like, there's nothing wrong
Mm-hmm.
with that, but everything is
Nope.
very, very similar. But then to be fair, their last showcase did show that they are moving in a different direction in terms of making more multiplayer things, more live service things, and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but
Which it wouldn't typically be a problem, but it alienates the core PlayStation gamer.
that they've
I
now
think.
built up, yeah, like they've made the PlayStation gamer into what they are today and enjoying only those kind of games, and now they're just going to be like, oh no, we're actually going to take a shift and start moving you into these, and it's just, yeah, it's kind of odd. Yeah.
I've got this question right. I posted this on Reset Era a couple months ago, and the guys over there did not like what I had to say, so I'm going to say it, and I just want,
God.
given the context of today, evaluate the following statement. PlayStation runs a risk of slipping into the Forza, Halo, Gears trap that Xbox did in the Xbox One era.
Oh, well, just only being able to
Thoughts?
fall back on those. It's just like the only thing they had, sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know. Potentially. Uh, yeah. And if anything, I can agree with that, but it's probably to like a worse like degree as well, because when you think that, when Xbox was in that rut of only relying on those sort of IPs to drag them out of the mud and to make the big bucks, at least those IPs were sort of very different from each other, right? With Halo being a sort of arena shooter, well, I guess Gears kind of was as well. Um, Gears having more of a single player, gritty, sort of gory style. Forza being a
Mm-hmm.
racing game, all that sort of thing. Whereas Sony might have that with their like handful of IPs, but then those handful of IPs like Horizon, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, anything like that they might do sequels on, they're all the same.
Mm.
Like they're not different. One's not a racing game. One's not a gory shooter or whatever. Like one's not a they're all the same. So it's probably I kind of agree, and like it could even be worse to that, like to what Xbox had back then as well.
Interesting. Yeah, and I'd invite the chat as well to if you're watching live or you're watching afterwards or you listen afterwards, like let us know, tweet at me or type pop off in the comments. It's interesting, isn't it? Because of course, firstly, we haven't heard that in a while for Xbox, have we? Like nobody says that anymore.
No.
Nobody says Forza, Gears, Halo, because there's been, even in the last 3 years, which have been overall fairly good. With it's a bit spotty, but overall fairly good. There's been new stuff. It used to be where's Xbox's new IP, and there's been loads of that in the last few years. So that's not, and in the coming years, so that's clearly not a problem anymore. But yeah, secondly, when people did say that, they didn't literally mean, because I've seen this be mischaracterized before, they didn't literally mean that the only thing that Xbox ever put out were those games. I can think even just off the top of my head in the Xbox One generation, Sunset Overdrive, Quantum Break, Rise, Killer Instinct, Dead Rising. I'm sure they had some other servicey games as well that I can't really remember right now, but you get the point. They didn't literally mean that. They just meant that those were they were the pillars that Xbox would safely come back to.
Yeah, reliable. Yeah, the structured pillars. Yeah.
And it would seem like nothing else would perform as well or stick as well as those ones. And I think there is a possibility that something similar could happen with PlayStation. I know they're working on, like, for example, Santa Monica is working on a new IP. The devs that did God of War, they're working on a new IP, as well as, I'm sure they're still doing something else, God of War, but they're doing something new as well. But it's, it's pressure. They're going to have to nail it, otherwise that narrative starts to sink in. And there was another thing of like there are currently 16 code names of for Horizon titles. It's crazy. I mean, if you think about it already, there's already still quite a lot, isn't there? We've had the 2 base games, the VR game, there's an upcoming Monster Hunter-like game. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say they can't nail all these things for what they are. I'm not saying that at all. But that's the same bucket that things like Forza got thrown into. Forza Motorsport, Forza Horizon, it's all the same thing, isn't it? Gears Tactics, Gears Judgment, it's all the same thing. It doesn't really, it's no biggie.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the bucket that it starts to get thrown into. We know Last of Us 3 is being made. I absolutely don't doubt there's a Ghost of Tsushima 2. I think there's a possibility you could land on the same 3, 4, or 5, depending on what's successful single player, third person action adventure, open world RPGs, getting quite a lot of sequels. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't think it was necessarily a bad thing when Xbox did it either, but it drew a lot of criticism, and that's kind of my question. Like, could we get there, and would that be a fair criticism, I suppose?
I feel like it makes sense. Yeah, I don't disagree with it at all. And yeah, I can definitely see that being a thing. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see if sort of IP fatigue sort of comes with it, or if everyone's just quite happy playing the 4th, 5th, 6th Horizon that kind of does the same thing, or whether or not they successfully actually do good spin-offs using the same universe or whatever. Like, we don't know how Last of Us Factions is going to turn out or anything like that. It could be quite good. I don't know. But I think they have to be creative with it. But like you said, yeah, it still kind of could fall into that same it's Last of Us, isn't it? It's that same sort of fatigue and that same category. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't disagree with it at all. Yeah.
So, it's interesting, and it'll be interesting to think about as we move forward, especially with Sony, PlayStation moving more towards a live service model. Hopefully they keep doing what they're doing, because, things like, and I don't want to speak about PlayStation for too long. It gets annoying when you do that on an Xbox podcast, but, like Sony Bend, who made, what was the fucking, god damn it, what was it called? What was the zombie one with the motorbike? Days Gone.
Days Gone. Yeah.
That performed just okay, didn't it, in the mid-70s? And I think one of the devs said on Twitter a while back, like, we wanted to make a second one, but PlayStation said no, basically. So they're forced to move on to something else before they've kind of nailed the formula. You could argue that runs contrary to what we were saying before, but because they have to make something new rather than nailing the formula of what they had already started. But it depends. Then it means the wind up time for the next game is so big. Ultimately, I think it gives us a good idea of how silly the argument was before, because it really just it depends what you're talking about. And there are pros and cons to starting new IP or continuing existing franchises.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, those sort of things are always going to start slow or maybe not hit as hard as, yeah, the IPs you're used to. You know, if you're expecting Days Gone to perform as well as Horizon 2 or anything like that, well, then you're kind of in a losing battle already there. That's never going to happen. And it kind of, yeah, it might sort of hurt Sony in a way of removing a lot of creativity from the equation, right? Where they're just like, well, why should we do that when we can just make Horizon 3? You know,
Just play safe.
go make that. Whereas I feel like, you know, if you look at it from Xbox's side, they give second chances or they give sequels. You know, like State of Decay didn't really hit, State of Decay 2 didn't even hit. But hey, they're getting State of Decay 3. You know, they're getting their chance to find their cadence and to, have more budget injected in it. And, let's see where this goes. Whereas, yeah, Days Gone is just like, nah, didn't hit the numbers, you're done. So
that's right.
Yeah.
And it's it's like what Phil said on that kind of funny podcast a while back. He said like you need to take risks in entertainment. If the way we're doing things means that we release a 60 open critic game every now and then, and so be it. And yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, then he was like, so be it. I'd rather that we gave the time and the space and the resources to try and innovate, to try something new. And if that results in a slip up every now and again, so be it. And I think that is the right approach. The only problem is, of course, that historically, until really the last year, Xbox hasn't been in a place where they've been able to fill that hole with something better. It's like this year we had Redfall was the stinker, but we've also had Hi-Fi Rush, Age of Empires 2, Minecraft Legends, then we've got Starfield, and then we've got Forza. We're looking at possibly 3 Game of the Year nominees across various categories there. So it really does not matter. It was disappointing as hell, but it does not matter all that much that one of those 5 or 6 games was a stinker. Historically, Xbox hasn't been able to do that. They release a stinker, and that's their one game for the year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That being said, please just don't give Redfall another chance. Don't make a Redfall 2. Just stop with that one.
I take a single player Redfall.
I don't know, man. I just think
I'm just so scared by the IP.
Yeah, I just don't think
too much.
There's any need to do it. There's no need to sort of blend what Arcane do into a co-op experience. Like I just leave it for how the formula kind of works for that studio, I guess. Like sure, make a new world. I don't mind having like a vampire world or something like that. But just keep the same formula. You can shake up the entire game. Just don't make it a co-op, like live service sort of experience.
Yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry to cut you off. Sorry, that's what you meant, Swagger in the chat. Sony signs the contract. That's literally breaking news. Oh, okay. I guess this is a good time to sort of pivot into the wider stuff. But it's breaking news I can see at the top of my Twitter feed from Brad Smith, Tom Warren, Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer has said, and I quote, "We are pleased to announce that Microsoft and PlayStation have signed a binding agreement to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation following the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. We look forward to a future where players globally have more choice to play their games." There we go. Nice. It's all cute. It's like a duck riding on top of a puppy.
That's all fantastic. The first buggy version of Call of Duty will release next year.
Yeah, this is the first version of Call of Duty, and then he puts a little asterisk by it, and he's like, "Well, what's that? What does that mean? What does that asterisk mean?"
Puts like a load of little bug emojis and like bug spray.
Loads of little ants, yeah. Worms. Well, this is interesting because we've always speculated that, I don't know if this is a permanent agreement. Not that it would matter if it,
right?
maybe. I mean, that's not what they've said. But I mean, I would have assumed that Xbox wouldn't have gone to the finish line and then buckled on their terms that they wanted to commit for, because they can't commit forever. So there must be a limit on it. I'm just going to have a look at the Verge real quick, just to see if there's any more.
It's probably
It says,
the 10-year one, right?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it says Tom Warren over at the Verge. Just having a quick look at the article. It's not immediately clear if this is a 10-year deal like Microsoft has signed with Nintendo and other cloud providers. I have to imagine it is for the same reason why Phil wouldn't commit to perpetual deals. Even at court, he was like, we can't do that because COD might start, they might fuck up and it might stop losing popularity. We're not going to bind ourselves into forcing it to make it for PlayStation forever.
Yeah.
I would, but I am surprised that they didn't publicly say that. Maybe it was part of the deal that PlayStation were like, look, it's fine. 10 years, keep it on us, but don't say that out loud because it's a bad look.
Weak. Yeah.
It devalues the brand. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
I suspect we'll hear more about this in the coming days. But hey, there we go. They buckled. They finally buckled.
They did it. Well, I mean, yeah, their hand was forced, right? They had to take the best offer that was on the table at the time. They're in no position to do any fuckery and try and get a better deal or anything like that when everything's working against them. So take what's there. I'm sure they also bit the hand off at that point.
And also, I'm sure you agree with this. The fact that this is a binding agreement about Call of Duty on PlayStation really kicks the door wide open for absolutely everything else.
Yeah,
like I'm sure most.
Yeah,
I'm sure most Xbox gamers I do not care about COD being exclusive. They do not need that. That is not not beneficial for the platform, and it's just a bit sadistic, isn't it? It's just a bit masochistic. So everything else, though, the new Blizzard stuff, some of the future IPs, whether it's Warcraft games or Diablo games, that could be up for grabs. It's big, but it's no Call of Duty, and I think that's quite curious that they've specifically said just Call of Duty. They haven't said Call of Duty and other Activision Blizzard games. They've just said Call of Duty.
Yeah. Do you think anything will happen regarding Diablo 4 in the future? I think it will be a while, won't it? They can't just chuck it into Games Pass or do anything like that because it just shafts everyone that bought it. But do you think at some point that?
Yeah, I think so. I find it very likely. I don't know if they will wait either. If they can get the deal through in the next month, let's say it takes one more month to fully finalize and fully close because they want to run things through smoothly with this EMA rather than closing over them. I reckon they might just slam it, loads of stuff on Game Pass.
But my money
with the headliner being Diablo. Yeah, well, it's been out a couple months now. You got your time.
I want a refund. I didn't get my time. I'm busy. You got your time.
Fair, that's not Phil's fault.
You
just decided to play Kaiju Simulator.
Phil. Don't.
Whoa, that's okay. It wasn't shade.
No, it kind of was. And it was shade the other day as well when I was posted in the group chat, and I was just like, yeah, it's probably my game of the year right now, as of now, Resi second place, and you just wrote, I can't believe it, or something like that. You're throwing shade my way all the time.
No, I was surprised. I knew you loved it. I didn't think you liked it more than the Resi remake.
The Resi remake was fantastic, and it's very close. It's very close.
I knew Hi-Fi wasn't quite in that upper echelon for you, but I didn't think it was. I didn't think it had overtaken that, so I was a bit surprised. And also, you still haven't really played much of Diablo. You're still a bit of a rookie, so
that is true. That is very true. But there's still plenty of games to take that top spot. It's a pretty stacked year, as we've all been away. Blessed be the year.
Blessed be the year, man. Mm-hmm.
So
praise be. Right. I mean, I'm a bit overwhelmed right now. I feel like I need to
You're good.
Because this is something really annoying that IGN does these days. They will like take stories that are days old and then just post them again. And I'm like, is this a current story or an old story? Because they've just said Blizzard president Mike Ibarra has insisted Diablo 4 is not coming to Xbox Game Pass. But I know that this happened like last week because there was like a weird leak on a random streaming service about Diablo coming to Game Pass, and he shut it down. He was like, no, that's not happening. And then he deleted that and was like, obviously, we don't know the future. We don't know if that's not ever going to happen. But for right now, that isn't the plan. So I assume IGN are just being IGN and just posting it again because they know it's going to confuse people like me.
Yeah. They do that quite a lot. Yeah, I think it's probably fake news.
So
Shadow Clone Jitsu on their news article.
So this is interesting. We got Call of Duty binded on PlayStation for who knows how long, probably 10 years. Like you were saying, it probably is 10 years. I can't see why now that Xbox had the upper hand, they would suddenly be like, yeah, well, actually, we'll just give it to you forever. Like, if anything, I feel like they would have negotiated down.
Yeah.
But it feels right to say that PlayStation probably didn't want that being public, like a public announcement. Because then people might. It's the same thing of like, you know, when of why game companies are really quickly to shut down Game Pass rumors, because people are still buying the game, and if once people know that it's coming to Game Pass, it might affect consumer behavior.
Yeah,
they might stop the purchase. Same thing with COD. Like, oh, people know it's going to stop coming to PlayStation in 5 or 10 years time. I might as well start getting into Xbox now.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. It's just mad facts today on the QRP.
Yeah, people will definitely do that 5 to 10 years in advance. I don't think so. No consumer looks that far in advance.
I do.
Yeah, but you got so many grooves in your brain.
I have a lot of grooves in my brain, and I've got a big forehead. Actually, there's the second time I've said that today, but I don't actually know if that's true. Is that true?
I don't really know, man. It seems alright. It doesn't seem overly big. It's probably the camera angle. There's no need to get self-conscious about it.
Joaquin's here.
Yeah, he's woken up.
Let's go. Hello to all the doubting sluts and naysayers that doomed and gloomed all over this. It's been a wild ride, man. And we're very happy to have had you all along for it. I think we've all learned a lot about each other. I think we've all grown quite a lot, haven't we?
I wouldn't say Joaquin's grown much. He still just wants to steal facial hair, and he just wakes up halfway through our podcast. But yeah, everyone else has grown quite nicely. Yeah,
the rest of us have grown. Yeah, at the very least. Swagger says, "Thank God it's just Call of Duty." Yes, so this is the thing. I think a lot of the Xbox community are happy to give COD away, but they don't want binding agreements for the other stuff. We've spoken about Project Odyssey, the new Blizzard survival game that all the insider gossip about is very positive. You know, and I would be very surprised if Xbox didn't want the new IP stuff at the very least to be locked down as exclusive, but maybe they don't, but we'll see. We can start talking about all of this sort of stuff on the podcast now. We can start talking about video games and where they're going to be,
but we don't know any more about it, so we can't really talk about it.
No, but one day we will know more. You know,
that is true.
But we can talk. Yeah, we can talk about talking about games. You know, and that's so much better than talking about
court trials
and court trials. Yeah, no doubt.
I'm definitely very happy about that. Yeah.
Joaquin says, "I will continue to dance and piss on the graves of these weirdos."
So you're referring to us as the weirdos?
No, I don't think so. I know. He just turns up to come and hate watch us every week.
Yeah.
Fuck these guys. If I act really chaotic, I'll drive all the other viewers away.
He's doing a great job of it.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. That wasn't something that I was expecting to happen today. So I'm just curious what actual other stuff we can touch on here that we kind of haven't already. How far in are we? An hour, 5 minutes. Tim, do you have any anything floating around as we're in the zone right now?
What, like just regarding this specifically?
Any of it really. I mean, it gives me a bit of time to check my notes and see what I want to do next. But also, yeah, just ask you, from the top, just what's the headline for you from this?
that it's
Is it what's coming next, or like I don't know. Yeah,
it's just that it's done is really the headline for me. It's nice to see it closed off, and yeah, the big one for me is, I mean, there's still a couple things that we don't know, right? Like the whole like UK based things and all that, right? Like we still don't know
that's right.
if that's going to affect us or shaft us or anything. So we can't really be too happy dancing and singing about it quite yet. Um, but yeah, and also the fact that it's just this deal has only been signed for Call of Duty, for the the sharing of the platform and stuff like that. Because that is not really a big deal to me. I mean, I can't remember the last time I personally played a Call of Duty, so it's nice to see. In my eyes, as much as Blizzard are so up and down as a company, they're more exciting to me. Um, to to just, your fucking poll really threw me off.
Sorry.
To just, yeah, they're more exciting to me as a company, basically. The future of them and the games they're gonna make and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what I'm pretty hyped about. And yeah, just be able to not talk about it so much on the podcast anymore. It'll be
Well,
so
even then,
nice.
it's a lot of good Activision studios as well. I know they've become
Mm-hmm.
a bit of a COD factory, but we've spoken
You
before about
can get
like
them working
supposedly
on other
Infinity
stuff.
Ward. I suppose Infinity Ward are working on a AAA new IP,
Yeah,
open world game. That's like pretty much a guaranteed hit. And all the other teams like Raven, whether they do or they don't slow down the annualization of the franchise, I don't know. But at the very least, I hope we can see some good new games come to the platform. That's
yeah,
essentially what I think the core Xbox audience wants. They want more stuff in Game Pass, and they want more exclusive big games that they can add to the catalog. And a lot of these studios are big studios capable of making big games.
exactly. Yeah, and I think they might be quite happy about it as well. Like, yeah, in terms of just you know being able to work on other things. Like I'm sure like a lot of them will still stay on Call of Duty because Call of Duty is a really big game that they're going to want to keep really big and keep the quality of it. They're going to try their very best to have Call of Duty not dip over the next 10 years because it's just a money powerhouse, right? But maybe
Yeah.
they get the option to start working some stuff they want to make and be more creative as well. Maybe that can be juggled a little bit better now that they're part of Xbox. So yeah,
And I think this is like kind of the important thing, isn't it? That Xbox, it feels like the strategy, as we know from them talking, wanted to just have so much content. What they initially said years back, wasn't it? Was we want to have a big game every quarter,
yeah,
4 big games every year, and that's great. And when we think about just the output of Activision or ABK is what I mean. ABK is bigger than Xbox and Bethesda combined.
mm.
So they're more than doubling this, like in terms of headcount, the brand with this acquisition. So that's, if anything else, it's just more output.
Yeah,
you know, um, and that's a big part of it. Hopefully, they can get to a point where the quality control is really good as well. But it's more output at the very least.
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to think what is the next best thing to talk about because it wasn't quite the bombshell I was expecting at Sunday at 3 o'clock. I guess, like you said, the last thing is the CMA, who are now really the last bastion against the deal. Just
Mm.
in case you didn't know, Tim, what happened was when the FTC lost the case, immediately the CMA were like, "Oh, we're open to negotiation again," because of
Yeah,
course Microsoft had appealed it to the higher tribunal, to the CAT. Um, and they were waiting for that to go through. But then as soon as Xbox One with the FTC, the CMA were like, we'll pause this. That's fine. We'll talk. We'll talk again.
Yeah.
We didn't mean it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
a
just
prank,
poking
bro.
around.
It's just a prank,
Yeah,
bro.
it's a prank. Yeah. Come on, big bro. It's okay. Come talk. So, you know, like you said, the speculation is that there might be some sort of divestiture of UK's cloud. I don't fucking get it. You know, I really don't get it. You know, essentially what that would mean, to the best of my understanding, is that Xbox would sell off xCloud to be operated and handled by EE. It seems like it's going to be EE because they're the biggest provider in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
How would that work? I don't know. In my head, it means that you would access xCloud through an EE app. You know, you'd still be able to do it. It's just Xbox would essentially sell that to them, and EE would own it. But yeah, I don't. It would get a bit more complicated. It's not preferable for anyone really. I don't understand why the CMA is so hell bent on this when like 40 countries are like, nah, it's not a problem. Now even America's like, nah, it's not a problem. And even PlayStation are like, yes, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're so stuck up on this point.
What, the cloud point?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one. And it kind of doesn't even have, like, I still stand by the fact that it has nothing to do with the actual overall case, really. But yeah, it's kind of weird. But I hope sort of nothing serious comes of it, you know, and it shafts over like a percentage, because it would just be really lame to just, you know, completely not necessarily cut out like UK or anything like that, but make it just more difficult for us. Like, just that just makes me not, it puts a really bad taste in my mouth on the brand, right? That just I pay just like everyone else does, and you know, I might have even been with this with Xbox longer than most of these other people over in America or whatever, but you know, I'm the one getting shafted. You know, it feels unfair, right? And as a consumer, and the entire point of this deal is to only benefit consumers, like it's doing the opposite.
I feel that way.
Yeah, it's doing the opposite of that for me. So yeah, but yeah, we'll see what happens with all that, because yeah, who knows.
At the very least, it seems like there's not going to be any bigger changes to divestiture. You know, like certain games not releasing in the UK or certain games not coming to Game Pass in the UK. You know, that was like, I'm sure that would have been a deal breaker for Xbox. Maybe it wouldn't, but you know, at one point it was, you know, a lot of the community was starting to worry about that, you know, us included. You know, things like all of ABK games not coming to Game Pass because the CMA was so worried about the dominance of subscription services would have been fucking dreadful. Like, you know, that would have been so stupid. It doesn't sound like we're looking at that anymore. And with PlayStation now caving, it really doesn't give the CMA much to stand on.
Yeah, it'll be tough. Yeah.
So what we know is that the CMA has extended the negotiation period to like mid-August, I think they said. So they've 1 month, but they said explicitly we plan to close or come to an agreement before that final date.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're quite close, whatever they're going to land on, but it's still crazy. Like, I don't know. It feels a bit, I mean, I know nothing about this, but it almost feels like a sunk cost at this point. It's like you guys blocked it like fairly early on. And now everyone else has said, no, this is fine. And now you're kind of left here looking like fucking idiots because you said it was, you know, it was anti-competitive. And you have to stick to your word now. So you've got to come away with a scalp or an ear or something.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly. That's probably what they're saying to Xbox. I've got to negotiate, but you know, do a brother a solid. You know, you have to make a compromise somewhere. Otherwise, we just look like fucking idiots. Yeah. But yeah,
we'll start selling Xboxes with Union Jacks like on them. You know, like looks. That's the paint job.
Yeah, it is kind of hilarious that how that's turned out for them.
Not good.
And I mean, I think that's deserved, really. Especially like you said, because they blocked it so early. Like it was just like it was such an immediate thing. Whereas maybe if they gave it a bit more thought and a bit more research and all this kind of stuff, maybe they would have come to the conclusion that everyone else has come to or whatever, and they wouldn't be in the situation where they look the way they do now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's just crazy to me that like I could wake up tomorrow and I could see some official news like Xbox has officially sold off its xCloud brand to EE, and as if I'm going to be like, oh, thank God, like I was really being squeezed. I was really being squeezed by xCloud. Like Jesus, my wallet, I just could not enjoy cloud gaming anymore because they were so far ahead. I said, it's just not.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks that. Like nobody is feeling like there is any like abuse of power. I know they're saying it's nascent and that it could happen in the future, but it's like, oh, whatever, man.
That's
like
ridiculous.
whatever. Like
you're just fortune telling at that point. Like I don't understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've recently invested in cloud gaming. In the Prime Deal, I got a backbone for an Android one. It's great, and I've given it a go, but by no means I'm this is going to change my fucking life. Like this is all I'm doing. It's like nah. I think I played like a little bit of what did I play on it? I think I played some like Monster Sanctuary, and I think I played some High on Life as well, just to give it a go.
Nice.
It was pretty good actually. Like it was genuinely quite crispy, and High on Life being a first person shooter as well, actually like almost zero to like no delay and stuff like that. It was pretty good. Yeah.
I think I told you a while back when I was away, I took my Kishi and I played Deathloop, but I was playing Deathloop at the time. And that's, I would say, a more responsive and maybe a harder shooter than High on Life. But I just went to the accessibility settings, turned on snap to aim. Do you know what I mean? When you click it, it snaps onto the target. I just turned on that, and then it was like totally playable. And it's just things like that can make that a really nice experience. And it's part of what a lot of like the CMA and the FTC have been trying to say this whole time. Like, oh, cloud is its own market. It's its own market. And Xbox is so far ahead in that market. And Xbox were obviously saying, no, it's not. It's an extension. Like it's an extension of the gaming market, which is clearly exactly what me and you were reporting because we use it to complement our console. We wouldn't do that. You wouldn't get a cloud and just do that instead of owning a console. That's unlikely anyway.
No. Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, it's just like a kind of like a nice to have thing. Like maybe I'd boot up like something or remote play something if I was away or anything like that. But I'm not actively only using cloud. I'm not swapping it out for my Switch. I'm not doing anything like that. It's not that big of an impact on my life.
Yeah.
But yeah. Cool though.
Hell yeah. Joaquin says you guys see because of the deal, Activision fixed matchmaking in all of the COD games. I did see that the matchmaking got fixed in all the COD games. I think if we're being honest with ourselves, it probably has nothing to do with the deal. Maybe what do I know? I know it's a nice PR message, it's nice optics, but it probably has nothing to do with it. However, I did see that. Yeah, all the COD lobbies, all the old COD lobbies are back up and working now. Populations are quite high. And you know what, Tim? I saw gameplay of Modern Warfare 2. I saw gameplay of Black Ops 2, and my tummy did a little fizzy.
What does that mean? A little fizzy? Were you
happy? A little fizzy in my tummy. Maybe.
What is it like? You wanted to go back?
I don't know. It was just a nostalgic. It's just a little nostalgic fizzy, a little fizzy tizzy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, they are great, but I don't know, man. If I went back to Modern Warfare 2, I don't think I could do it. The game's so unbalanced. But plus you got. Am I imagining this? I really don't follow COD, but there's a Modern Warfare 2 remake, isn't there?
Yeah. It's already. Yeah, that's already a thing, I think.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It is already a thing. Yeah, well, this is what I mean. Like, we just don't keep up with Call of Duty. I don't know if Modern Warfare 2. I think that's out, and it's been out for ages. I don't know. Like, I really just don't follow Call of Duty in any format. Like, even news to like talk about it outside of this. I don't know.
All I know about Call of Duty is that everybody says that I should play the Infinite Warfare campaign
Yeah, it's
with
pretty good.
Kit Harington and Kevin Spacey. That's all everyone ever says to me. That it's a really good campaign and you should play it.
Yeah, I played the Infinite Warfare campaign. It is pretty good.
I
Yeah,
don't, maybe if it comes to Game Pass.
it's decent. Yeah, I mean, all the COD campaigns are pretty decent. Like, I'm just trying to think of another one that was pretty good. I mean, the Black Ops ones are good. I mean,
Yeah,
we're big
classics.
we're big fans of the Black Ops 1 and 2. I don't think 3 was fantastic. I think 3 was okay, but um
Yeah,
yeah, they've all been pretty solid. I don't think Ghost was very good actually. I remember playing Ghost campaign and I wasn't very impressed with
that
that.
was Xbox One, beginning of Xbox One. That was yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't very impressed. I mean, I just wasn't impressed with that game in
It was fine.
general. The multiplayer was also pretty shocking as well. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. You know, I think it does show that that it's that thing of like, even though people will say that they don't like that franchise, they'll go back and play the ones that they grew up on. Um, yeah, it does make me wonder that if they like nailed a setting that really spoke to both audiences, would old gamers come back to it? You know, like us, for example. You know, like we used to like it when we were like teenagers, haven't really played it since. I wonder if they really nailed an aesthetic, would I give it a go again?
Mm,
Maybe.
potentially.
I don't think they have done that for me at this point. But having it as part of my subscription would certainly help.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was about to say if it comes to Games Pass, yeah, there's no, the bar of entry is so low as a result of that. I probably would give it a go. Yeah. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, who knows?
What do you think, Tim? Joaquin says I'm not a functioning human
Oh yeah, no,
because the
you're
deal
not.
is about to close, the games are about to hit Game Pass, um, and therefore the lobbies going back online is 100% because of the deal. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably whether it was a result of the deal, whether or not it was timed for the deal. Like, I think it probably is connected. Yeah, like absolutely. Um, yeah,
There you go.
with everything sort of coming through, yeah, and potentially all these games dropping into Games Pass, and people can just fill their boots with nostalgia and try out all this shit, and then yeah, suddenly everything is just fine, works. People can multiplayer any of their favorite Call of Duties. It does seem a bit convenient. That's all just happened. Um, so yeah, I think I would
My,
agree that the timing is a little bit too convenient for it not to be related in some way.
oh, this good.
Is
This
Joaquin
fucking
enjoying
good.
my response? Yeah,
Yeah, he said I knew Tim was the smarter of the duo. Good mustache as well.
yeah. I think Dex actually got a better moustache than me, if I'm honest. I've got a fuller beard overall, but I think he's got a better moustache than me. So, but regardless,
No,
thank you.
it's because I don't shave that bit. I just shave the other bits.
Mm.
Puffs out, you know. I get the little comb out. Get a
You
mustache comb.
comb. Very nice.
Yes, it's a little spray. Yeah. So my only qualm with this take is that obviously any collusion pre deal is highly illegal. um, and I think it would be risky as fuck for like Microsoft do not want any more regulation oversight. Like like they haven't fully closed yet. Like if somebody really wanted to, they could be like, hang on a minute, why have these lobbies just come back online?
Well, no, I'm
I
not
don't know. It
saying like
feels very risky.
I don't think Microsoft have had a play in it. Like they've helped them or like I don't know, done anything like that. I just think that with the deal closing and like it's just I don't know. Maybe they just pushed a button on it. Maybe Activision was just like, yeah, now's a good time to just really work on this. Crunch time. This deal is about to close. Let's get this shit up and running for it, sort of thing. Because it's in their own interest to do it as well. But yeah, no, I don't necessarily think that Xbox had an insider hand on it prior to the deal going through.
Well, that would be my query. You know, if it was something that Activision were looking to do anyway to generate interest and back in the game. I mean, is there a COD event coming up? Are we expecting an announcement soon? It's July, so we probably are, right? July, August. So we're probably expecting the event in the next month or two for the November launch. I'm not saying that it's impossible that there wasn't any, but to my knowledge, they can't. That it is illegal for them to collude, even if it is in the contract. They have to close, right? They have to close, and then they can start moving on those things. Like, and they haven't closed yet, and they might not close for another month if the CMA, if the negotiations take longer.
Not if they claim
Who
convenient
knows?
timing.
Well, but then it would be Activision colluding with Xbox. Then it would be Activision saying,
Nah,
like,
they could just
we were
get a
getting
read
ready
on it.
for the deal.
They could just get a read on it. Like
Yeah.
just watch everything unfold as it is, like the public is, and just be like, oh, we really think this is actually going to close. Everything's going to come to a close in the next 2 months. Let's start working on fucking getting all our shit back online. If it does close in favor of Xbox, fantastic. Everything's hitting Games Pass, and we've got fully functioning games. Like it's preparation for the what if, isn't it? They can get a feeling of what they think is going to happen and go with it. Doesn't necessarily mean there's fucking insider trading going on or anything.
Yeah, I suppose I was more thinking as if it was something that Xbox had asked Activision to do, rather than maybe Activision just doing because they were looking at the numbers.
Yeah, exactly. They could just have a feeling.
Is that what you meant, Joaquin? Is that what you meant as well? I assume it was. In which case,
yeah, because everyone's following the deal just like we are. So,
yeah. Thank you, Timmer. We saw it as well. We've had a little segment on it. Breaking news. Love a bit of breaking news to break my back to.
That's why they called it breaking news.
Yeah.
Speaking of breaking backs. Oh no, I didn't get a click.
That's a shame.
Rats.
All right. Well, we're probably going to move on from this story. Then there are a couple of other things I wanted to touch on. So if you have any questions for the show, we'll do some Q&A towards the end. Get them in now, but we're going to move on onto another couple of things as we're about an hour and 25 in now. So thanks for sticking with us. Tim, there was an Idea Xbox show this week.
Oh yeah.
Did it with IGN?
Yeah, I didn't watch this. I wanted to, and I did boot it up. I had my second monitor, and I got like a HDMI switcher as well. So when I was working, I put on YouTube on my Xbox, and I put it up, and I was gonna watch it because it was kind of a slow day, and then everything just kicked off, and work just got so busy, and I never actually got around to doing it. Which is a shame because you told me this was pretty good, right?
It was pretty good. Yeah. It started out really, really strong. They just treated it like a showcase. It was great. The three IGN hosts were like, well, hey, isn't Idea Xbox great? This is their history. Hit roll on the games. And they showed clips of a load of games. And they were pretty good. And then they did the same thing. They were like, yada, yada, yada. This, that, and that. Here are some more games. There wasn't as many Game Pass editions as I'd hoped as it continued to go on.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I was expecting that kind of all of them would be.
Yeah, me too.
There was actually only a handful that were. Then they did a shadow drop, which was nice for a game that looked pretty good. And then we got into the back third, and it kind of got a bit weaker. And this is kind of funny. So there were two games that looked like. So the first one is a game called Stumble Guys. Stumble Guys. And it kind of just looked like Roblox, like a Roblox mod or something, like a Roblox map, but Fall Guys.
Was it all blocky as well, like the characters you play as?
Yes.
Okay.
And
was it actually Roblox themed?
I don't think so. I think that's just the game.
Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe I'm missing some context here, but I think that's what it was.
Okay.
And then there was another game. I can't remember what it's called. I should have made a note of it. I can't remember what it's called, but it essentially looked like anime Overwatch. Like
Let's
the aiming
go.
the
What?
aiming reticle was exactly the same. You know, it's like a circle with a dot in it. And then when you got headshots, it did the little red X's.
Oh yeah.
The art style was like kind of the same. The archetypes were like kind of similar. And I was doing like a little bit of live commentary on Twitter, and I was like, this started well, but now this was like a clone. Now there's been like a clone of Fall Guys and Overwatch, and I don't know. And the dev of the game replied to me.
Oh, let's go. What did he
And
say?
they were like, we don't think we're cloning anything. We hope you'll give it a go when it comes out. And I was like, oh, now I just feel bad.
Did you reply to them and be like, yeah, I'll definitely give it a go?
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, I'm sorry, I feel bad now. I'll keep an open mind, and I'll all the best.
You had two choices there to either fold like the beta you are, or to fucking come
Yeah.
back even more aggressive. You chose to be a beta.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It just didn't feel so great to be confronted by a South Korean dev. Challenges games. What's the game called?
North Korean dev.
Second Wave. That's what it's called. A free-to-play multiplayer hero shooter MOBA.
Second Overwatch.
Yeah. It looked like anime Overwatch for real.
That's what you should have called it. You should have been like, yeah, sure, I'll download and enjoy Second Overwatch.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's good overall. It was a massive step up overall from their previous formats when they did that shit on like Twitch, and it went on for like 6 hours, and there was just like this corpse of a Twitch entertainer, like barely functioning on the microphone, and like, oh my god, those poor guys. I don't know, as much as they were probably trying their best, but like they would like see the game and then they would watch gameplay of the game together, and then they'd be like, wow, this looks so great, so how did you do this? And then the dev would speak and they'd be like, wow, I really like that. And the dev would be like, yeah. And then they'd be like, ha, 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 that was funny. And they'd be like, and then they'd be like, okay, that's it for now. And they'd move on to the next thing. And it'd be like,
it's just copy paste. Yeah. Copy pasta. The no Hollow Knight, I assume.
No Hollow Knight.
Damn.
Where is it? Where's the game?
Real?
Maybe games come.
Yeah, maybe games come. Did we see Cocoon?
Nope, no Cocoon.
I guess they are bigger.
There's more new stuff.
I guess they are sort of bigger indies, I guess. But
yeah.
Okay. No Hades.
Yeah.
Too.
No Hades. Yeah, it is quite funny that, isn't it? There's like a tier, there's like a hierarchy of indie games now. There's like
indie,
there's like triple I's, isn't there? Like your Hollow Knights and your Hades and your High on Lives.
Yeah. Not call it that. Triple I's.
Triple I's, yeah.
Indie games.
Indie games. There was one really cool. So I just wanted to give a shout out to two particular games. Oh, and one of the things they showed off was Vampire Survivors, a co-op mode, a local co-op mode, which I thought awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Coming in August. Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
There was another one. I can't remember the name. Really annoyed, but it looked just like it had like the same mechanic as Highlander. Do you remember Highlander on the 360?
Oh, the one where you swap between like colors and realms.
The orange and red, the orange and blue, yeah.
That was a cool game. Yeah,
similar to that, but different style. I got real flashbacks to that. And the other one was Myth Force. Myth Force in particular was one of the standouts for me. It looked like it had like this 70s style, and it looked a bit like Gun. It's like a first-person shooter where you I think you're playing as funny little people. Gun, and it's what was that? What was the roguelike animal shooter where you played as little animals?
Oh, well, the one we were just playing not that long ago.
Yeah. Gunfire Ribbon. Yeah. It looked kind of like that, but with like a real 70s cartoony style.
Neat.
And yeah, no, it looked cool. It looked cool. So yeah, cool standouts. Overall, decent show, good improvement.
How long was it?
Oh, and they put demos up on the Xbox that you can go and play demos of those games like right now, which was pretty neat.
It's cool. I like a demo.
Yeah.
Demo shows
About 40
confidence.
minutes.
Okay. 40 minutes. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Next story. Tim, you can report voice chat now. We're fucked. You can report party chat.
What?
It's over. Go to prison.
Have you seen those fucking like memes where it's just like when the group chat, when the boys group chat gets leaked and stuff like that, and it's just like loads of memes of like people like running away or like being tackled by like police officers and shit. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of fucked. So everything is being recorded.
It's just not. There's just something
Nowhere is
about being
safe.
in a party, isn't there? That is something happens and nothing's really real,
Yeah.
and you can just talk gibberish and it won't matter. And now I'm quite worried.
Yeah. We've seen some very, very odd things in pie chats before. I think we might be like, it might turn into like a show for like the people working at that section at Xbox. They'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, these guys are at a party tonight. They would just like fucking tune in.
Yeah, come on in.
They put it on
Yeah.
like the big screen. They all got like popcorn out. Like, what the fuck are they gonna say tonight?
Yeah, there's a lot of would you rather's going on. Like, would you rather have your knees bent backwards or your elbows bent backwards? Like which would you rather have? Imagine walking if your knees were the other way.
What, like
How
Mark
weird that'd
Zuckerberg?
look. Yeah,
He does do that. He's a lizard man.
it's horrible. That's a life of pain. That is.
I love that picture. That picture is so funny.
Of Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, have you never seen it?
I don't think so.
Oh, dude, you'll love it. Zuckerberg. Just gonna type legs backwards.
Yeah, that's okay. So just as a few more details, it allows players to capture and report up to 60 seconds of voice activity inside any multiplayer games that have in-game voice chat.
Yeah.
Oh, is it just in-game voice chat? Oh, I thought it was party chat as well.
Oh, it's not. Oh, we're safe.
Well, I think we might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just sent it to you on WhatsApp.
Okay, because I have to have a look live. Otherwise, what are we doing
Well, I
here?
haven't actually. Yeah, just give me a sec.
What is this? Oh my god! Why does he do that? It's like, oh my god, they go beyond straight. That's so weird.
The reptilians made a mistake while assembling him. It's great.
That's so weird, man. You do get people like that. Some people have like hypermobility. It's horrible.
Yeah, some people, when they're not real people, have that.
Have you seen there's the? I mean, I don't mean to turn this into the "Have you seen this video" segment, but like, I keep seeing this video on my feed of like some guy like moving his arm around and like popping it out of his socket and then like twisting it. It's so scary, and
Never
he's just
seen
like
that.
staring with a blank face forward, and you can like see his shoulder like moving around his back.
Dude,
It's
what is your
it's
recommended
gross.
feed? What the fuck? What kind of shit do you look at?
I guess. I mean, I don't know. People popping their elbow out and their shoulder out is scary stuff.
Yeah. But
All right. What's next? I don't really think we need to do that. I think what we do need to do is touch on the fact, Tim, that the Game Pass family plan is ending.
what?
Fucked up is that? Yeah.
Did that only just come out? My imagination, or did that only just happen less than a year ago? Am I going crazy?
I think you're not going crazy. I think they trialed it. I want to say it was Mexico and Ireland. They were trialing it in those two places. It hadn't officially come out. Technically, it was a preview beta sort of thing. They had said that. But now it kind of feels like they did it and they were like, yeah, we lost money on this. Yeah, we lost money on this, so we ain't going to do it.
Yeah, you guys can still keep paying. In fact, we're jacking up the price.
Yeah, which is what they just did. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
There must be some outcome here. I mean, surely if anything, they can just do it, but make it slightly more expensive than what their previous calculations were.
Mm.
It just seems like it's exactly what they want in terms of getting people into the ecosystem and locking people into the ecosystem. So we'll have to see, but it does feel a bit weird and a little bit cheeky.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not the best look. But yeah. Because yeah, it
I
literally
mean,
comes down to the reason they're scrapping it is money, right? That's the only explanation, and it's never a good look. But
yeah, and I mean, it sounds like they will still want to move forward with the offer. But to quote, we will be ending the preview as we look to take the learnings from the past several months and investigate building an offer which we can launch worldwide in the future. End quote. So it sounds like they are looking to do that, but there weren't any further commitments. Who knows when that is. It took quite a while to get to this stage. I feel like we've been talking about this family plan for a long time and nothing's really come of it. So,
they are tricky things to get right, though. To be fair, because people always find a way to sort of cheat the system as well, or like they are quite tough to get right. In fairness, like
yes,
defending
sure.
them a little bit. But yeah, maybe we still see this in some capacity in the future. It'd be nice because I think it'd be quite beneficial to just do it with friends, family, and all that kind of stuff. Even if it's only knocking off like a couple quid, it's still probably worth it. The question is just if you're not saving that much as a consumer, people aren't going to make the effort to contact friends, family, and get this set up, right? Because at the end of the day, it needs to. Humans are extremely lazy. There needs to be a decent benefit to it for us to actually bother.
Yeah.
So
and it'd be awesome if you could just do it through the Xbox as well. Like you could just go to someone on your
friends list and
on your friends list.
Yeah.
And then there's like a collapsed tab of like family.
Family, like a Vin Diesel picture.
So yeah. Fuck. There was something else I was going to say then. Oh, it was this better not have been Netflix's fault, given that they just did their whole fucking thing with not letting people share accounts across different households anymore. Maybe that gave Xbox a bit of pause. So like, oh, hang on a minute. If Netflix, the granddaddy of subscription services, isn't able to do it, maybe we aren't either.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, because there was a lot of bite back on Netflix, wasn't there?
Yeah, I am now no longer subscribed to Netflix.
Did not go smoothly. Yeah, I mean, I still am, but yeah. To be honest, Netflix is it's pretty ass anyway. There's only a handful of things I will probably watch on Netflix, and to save some money, I probably could unsubscribe and then just resubscribe when those things hit the service, like the next Stranger Things or something like that, or the next Witcher, for example. Like we are watching Witcher, but then when we're done on Witcher, that's it. Like right, I don't really want to consume anything else on Netflix. But yeah,
I was halfway through Black Mirror, was having a nice time. Woke up the next morning, can't do it anymore. So that's that. I'm not going back and committing for a month or longer.
Yeah, that is a bit of a rip, isn't it? Yeah.
Suck a big one.
Yeah. You tell him, man. You fucking
suck a big one.
You fucking it's you. You're the kind of people that fight back and get these
suck a big fat one.
All right. He's losing the plot. 1 hour 43 minutes in, he said "suck a big fat one" 3 times in a row. In what I can only assume is a Nigerian accent. His best attempt at a Nigerian accent.
I'm just so excited. It's just such a commemorative day, That's all it is. It's just the energy's wild and crazy.
And to commemorate it, you say "suck a big fat one."
Yeah,
That's what you go with.
Yeah, just think of it. I'm saying it not just to Netflix, but I'm saying it also to the FTC and also to the CMA and also sort of to Jim Ryan, even though he was just protecting his own business interests, but sort of to Jim Ryan as well because you just bent the knee, today
Yeah.
after being all pissy.
Bend the
So
knee, Jim. Bend the knee.
for the road, and for prosperity, suck a big fat one.
Yeah, it's either you bend the knee or you get bent over. So you pick one.
God, we've really gone off the rails, haven't we?
Yeah, that's true. We're in trouble.
Okay, we fucking did it, man. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. What's going to happen next? Who knows? CMA is going to end this deal. I hope they fucking next time we sit down, because Tim, we've closed the book, but there's like a bit of folded paper at the top. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like this, it's accidentally been folded as we've closed it.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is the worst. And if the CMA just are like, yep, good, we agree with those terms, that bit of paper unfolds and the book is closed, and there's a big spurt of dust that comes out of the side of it because it's been open for so fucking long.
Big spurt coming at me as well.
Big spurt of dust, is it?
No,
I'm
dust.
sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
I'm not dust, dude. I'm not barren. We're good. We're good.
That's terrible. That's awful. Sorry to hear that.
Stop. On a serious note. Yeah. It's extremely painful as well.
That's you when you climax.
Dude. Alright. It's been a pleasure, everyone. I never thought Dad could be the one to fucking break and melt on this podcast when I'm really tired and kind of hungover. But he broke first. Let it be known.
Did I?
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, okay. When this goes up, I want you to fucking watch the last 10 minutes of this. You didn't fucking break.
Look, I know this has been hard on you, but I've also had to be making fucking notes on this shit for like 60 episodes as well.
That's true.
Do you know how painful that is? That is hard work. That is hard work. I follow fucking accounts so that I make sure I have the news and I actually kind of know what I'm talking about. That's rough, man. It's no wonder I just did what I did. I feel kind of bad, honestly.
You've got to get out of your system somehow.
Just like you with the dust.
Exactly. Yeah. God,
once it's
sake.
gone, it's like backed up. It's like back up.
Yeah. That's how it works. Right. Anyway, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Guys.
Thank you for coming on this amazing, wonderful journey of the ABK deal and the FTC and the CMA. And, here's to just shutting this dusty old book, and getting this tome, throw it into a fucking barrel fire, and we will never speak to it ever again. Yeah. Everyone have a great week.
Have a good week, guys. Have a good week. We did it. We won.
We did it. Yeah.
You.
You did your part.
We did it. We played our part. Exactly.
Yeah.
We put the hours in. Look where we are.
Yeah.
I knew I should have bought shares.
Shares? Is that an abbreviation for a chaise lounge?
Let's end the show. Let's get out of it.
Bye. Suck a big fat one.